Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the New Gen Football Podcast. My first guest is someone who I consider a dear friend and a mentor, honestly, Omar Bywaters.
Yeah, so my name's Omar Bywaters. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I grew up in Las Vegas playing soccer through all various club teams. Started out with New Sport. Before I was with New Sport, I was with my father's team, Vegas Express. We had a team that we were playing down over there at Gibson Middle School. And then as we got older, it was time for us to play in competitive soccer. I ended up going to a club called Soccer Stars that was ran by a guy named Bruce. And I ended up from Soccer Stars. I went to a club called New Sport. New Sport was the top club in Vegas at the time. It had New Sport and Alliance were the two clubs that were roaming around Las Vegas that would win State Cup, win the regionals, go to regionals. So that's where I was playing. The coach is Victor Arbeles, very dear coach out here, legendary guy. He passed away not too long, about a few years back. Good dude, legendary coach. Got a son named Boomer Arbeles is a doctor out here in Las Vegas now, played for the Alliance. They started the Alliance Club. But like I said, I played with the New Sport Club. They were the rivals. There was only two or three clubs at the time in Las Vegas. Soccer was very small back in these days in the 90s.
Yeah, so there's only two, and nothing was organized, right? It was just
Nah, it wasn't really organized at the time. It was just, they had the recreational teams and the two club teams. The two club teams were traveling to California, Utah, Arizona. I think they went to Albuquerque. They weren't really touching on the East Coast until about U15 years, U16 year, and then they started a branch off of Alliance and New Sport. We had other clubs like Sport, but those were the older clubs, and they had some Green Valley clubs. But I played more in the central part of Vegas with Alliance and New Sport. We battled each other quite a bit, and then there was this like other small sub teams that were competitive, but Latino clubs, Latino teams. We didn't really have club soccer yet. Like Alliance had maybe like 3 teams. New Sport had like maybe 4 teams, 4 coaches, and then what happened was it grew and it went into Alliance and New Sport combined it. And it went to become Premier, what Premier was today, what Premier is now today. Premier's got some good players, top players in the city. When I was playing back in the 90s and early 2000s, 2001, 2, and 3, we had Premier. And, those were the clubs, Alliance, New Sport, and Premier. And we all played it. We played every Saturday at Gibson Middle School.
Yeah, right there on Washington, right?
Yeah, right there on Washington. We played right there at Gibson. It's still there, old school. It's been there for years.
Right by the golf course, right?
Right by the golf course. I forget the name of it, but it's a golf course right next to it. It's a legendary golf course. Been there, Old Money Vegas.
The mob days, huh?
Yeah,
man. But I just want to go over some of your highlights so that people know.
Yeah.
You were a state champ at Chaparral.
Yeah.
You played at Cal State Fullerton and UNLV.
Yes, indeed.
You coached players like Zico Bailey, Kainoa Bailey. Your sister, Zakiya Bywaters, the #1 draft pick in 2013 for the NWSL, sorry.
Yeah. So you got some information over
there. Come on, man. Did my homework. Yeah. Let's jump into that. Talk about some of that. How was your time at Cal State?
Oh man, Cal State Fullerton was an amazing opportunity. They blessed me with a soccer scholarship back in 2003. I was a young kid. I was about 17, 18 years old, and I went down there and I started like 21 games, and I got homesick. Really, I got homesick, and the coach came to me and he said, "Listen, Omar, if you leave the school, it'll be the biggest mistake of your life." And I just looked at him like, "What are you talking about? I'm from Vegas, there's nothing going to be bad about going back home and play for UNLV. Plus, I'm a rebel all the way at heart anyways. I wanted to go there, but I just ended up going to California for that first year, and I transferred back home to UNLV. My family, it's a family history to go to UNLV. My uncle was the first black coach at UNLV college football back in the days. I think it was the 70s. When they were 11-0, the Ron Myers era. People probably don't know about Ron Myers, but we're young. We're really young. Ron Myers era. It's 1970, it's back in the 73, 74 era. And my dad played on the team. They went 11-0.
Your dad played?
Yeah.
Wow.
Played.
What do you play?
He was punt return. My father played punt return. Thomas Bywaters played punt return, and he was an avid coach in the city. starting down there in North Las Vegas Rec Center, and I started a little, this park called Harkey Park. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Harkey Park.
I've definitely heard of it.
Harkey Park's right there by St. Christopher. It's off of Bruce and Lake Mead, in between Bruce and Lake Mead.
I know what you're talking about.
Like the backside is Searless, so it's right by Rancho High School. So
Yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
grew
about.
up playing in the North Las Vegas areas, playing soccer around there with a lot of Latinos and stuff. Growing up playing ball.
Your dad had a team, right?
Yeah, he had some teams down there. It was he started these clubs down there. It was North Las Vegas. It was all recreational kids, inner city kids, just playing, and that led up to me going. That's how I got my history in soccer, to go play at Cal State Fullerton and end up transferring back to UNLV with Coach Barry Bardo.
Bart?
Yeah, Coach Bardo.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's not the.
No,
I'm
no,
thinking
no.
of the other guy.
Yeah,
Bart.
Coach Bart. Coach Bart is from the club. That's when the club soccer. He's in the club soccer, but Bart played for UNLV as well. Like most of the coaches that are from Vegas, we all played for UNLV, and we ended up being funneled into the club soccer scenes. And then they started running it as a business, and they're making their money. But also the kids, the kids want to play soccer, so why not put them in soccer and make strong teams across the city so that we could compete. That was the main goal, was for the clubs to compete with California, because at the time that was where we couldn't compete.
Right.
So then as we started building more players and people started moving to Vegas, and top players started coming, and they started developing players through Premier, through these coaches like Bart. Bart is a big time coach out here in Vegas. He's a legendary coach too in club soccer. And championships after championships after championships, professional players and top regional players. Mike Zaire. Mike Zaire's a big player that came out of Bart's academy, out of his clubs of Premier. The whole Zaire family.
That was your boy, right?
Yeah. They had a brother. He was an amazing player. Passed away back in.
You were his teammate, right? You guys played on the same team?
Yeah, we played on the same team. He was a good dude. We were born the same day, actually. Great family, out here in Vegas. The Zaire family. Much love to them. Much respect to them.
And that's who the park was named after, right?
Yeah, but I think is the Kellogg Zaire.
Kellogg Zaire?
The Kellogg Zaire field. They named the park after the son. It was a tragic moment in Las Vegas City. Was really very mourning. Was in a serious mourning at this time, and it was devastating, very devastating. He's played at Oregon State. He was a big time player at Oregon State freshman year. He was on his way to go to the national team, and it's freak accident just happened, and claimed his life. It's still memorable to this day. Family is a top notch family, second to none.
Yeah, no,
Zaire family, yeah, most definitely.
Imagine to get a field named after you. That says alone the impact you made, and
absolutely, yeah.
This is why I thought it was only right to have you as the first guest, because you're a Vegas football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate
when it comes down to it. Like these are all these things that people don't even know about the history of Vegas soccer.
Yeah, there's another kid. I can't think of his name right now, but he played for Downtown. He was a big time baller. I think his name is Matt.
Matt Postler. That was my age.
Yeah, that kid's a baller.
Oh yeah.
I was watching that kid since he was 12 years old, and he came out of Downtown Soccer Club. I remember one day I was like, "Who's this Matt Postler?" I kept hearing about this Matt Postler. My mom. It's honestly my mom is the one that kept me up with what's going on in soccer in Las Vegas. Like, because I was on the regional pool. So what happened? You go to ODP. You go to the ODP team, you got a regional pool, and you got the regional team, and that's how you get to the national pool and the national team. And that's how the United States, they find their players through these different leagues and these different clubs and these different programs. ODP is the number one program. And my mom, every summer, she's so, bless her heart, every summer, and not even every summer, like every week or every month, they have they call it blogs. They call it blogs. But now the world has changed. Everyone's doing this.
Now it's vlogs with a V because it's video, right? Back then it was
V
because it was on the.
So all you're doing is typing and you're talking back to the people and you're commenting, you're ranting, raving.
Right.
My mom's on these podcasts. These podcasts nowadays. It's my first one. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, thank you.
I'm excited. So my mom is my mom's on all the blogs and she's reading. She's keeping up with all the top players, and she's like, "This is a kid named Matt. I'm out of the soccer game. Like, I'm 10 years, 15 years removed from soccer. I'm a coach now. I'm coaching."
Right.
And my mom's like, "Yeah, there's this kid named Matt Polster." I'm like, "Geez, Mom, you just told me about this kid over here." She come back, and that's how I met Jason Ing, and I met Kainoa Bailey and Zico Bailey. And I obviously had my sister with me because I was training with her since she came out the womb. I was training soccer with her. And she's just a phenomenal player, very phenomenal player.
I remember all those sessions.
Yeah, man, amazing sessions, very precious times, and the life for me, especially for me, those were very, very precious moments in life when we were doing those training sessions out there with your brothers were out there, and I had one goal in mind. That's it for those three. and that's to play professional soccer, and they did that.
I remember.
That was why we were out there. We were really out there trying to prepare them to play professional soccer. My goal was, in my mind at least, I was like, these three are gonna play professional soccer. So I put everything into it, and training them. And then I had my girls teams, and I love my girls teams actually.
I remember the 95s, right?
My 95 girls.
Yeah, you had some ballers on there.
Some ballers on there, some real good ballers. They broke into the competitive scene at a very late time when soccer was already established, and a guy named Eric Garish was coaching a new sport girls team, and he had the best team since U10. These girls were phenomenal. They got so many, I can't even remember all their names, but Lauren Caskey went to UCLA. She got drafted in the NWSL right after my sister. A couple years after my sister, she got drafted. They got another girl, and we call her Jammer. Jammer is a big-time baller. I think she might be
from Vegas, right?
She's from Vegas, and she's a big-time baller. I think she ended up going to Washington, big-time schools, big-time talent out here in Vegas that we've had all over the years coming up. Like the system that's going on right now, I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm like 5 or 6, 7, 8 years removed from it because I was just training soccer. But I know that what I do know is the boys is probably a powerhouse across the West Coast right now.
Oh, yeah.
They had some, I don't know the years, but these kids are probably like 16, 17 years old now. I met them at like 12 years old. So that's like 5, 6 years ago. And those kids were phenomenal.
From Cali?
No, from Vegas. I'm talking about Vegas kids right now.
There's a couple kids, 07, 08. I'm assuming you're talking about like around that age group,
Yeah,
right?
that might be the age.
No.
I picked them up on a freak accident. They are looking for me. They're always like looking for me to train soccer, but I'm hard. You can't really find me. It's really hard to find me. If you want to do soccer, you have to really know me. You got to know my cell number.
It's like a treasure hunt.
It is a treasure hunt. But I do that. I learned that from a lady that was coaching my sister. Her name's Jill Ellis.
Oh, I remember Jill Ellis.
National team
when you had those text messages from her. That was like 10 years ago now?
Yeah, I remember.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
It's crazy when you showed me it. The first thing I did was go online and I look up Jill Ellis. And then I see who she is. I see her whole resume. National team coach for the women's side.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at your text messages, and it's text messages from her.
Yeah.
Saying, how you doing, Omar? How's he? This and that. I'm like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy moment. Like I said, that's how I met you because I was putting teams together, and I was like you said, you're being real passionate. Don't take things so serious. Don't take it, don't take it to heart. But when I was coaching soccer, I took everything to heart.
Yeah.
I take it to heart because what people fail to realize is when you're a coach, you're not, and then you're passionate and you're young, you're not there for the money. No. You're not there for the money. The money's good. Don't get me wrong. Money's good. It's great money, but you're really there because you love the game. Like, I'm still young. I want to play. I'm a dog right now. I want to get out there on the field. I want to play with these kids. And then you get this 10, 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid, and you're with him more than he's with his family. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard for me not to take it personal. You understand what I mean?
No,
it's kind of hard for me not to take it personal and take it to heart. I take everything to heart. I'm passionate. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times the parents don't really see that because what they want for their kid and what they see for their kid is what they want. It's not what the team needs or what the coach needs. It's what they want. Like, I want little Johnny to be number one. So I'm going to talk to this parent and see if I can stir up trouble and get him to go to my rival club. You get what I'm saying? That happens all the time.
It's crazy because that was happening when you were coaching.
Yeah.
It was probably happening when you were a player. Yeah. And it's still happening today, even me as a coach.
Spoils the war. It happens. It's called greed. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best. And it's not the best for the team. And it's not the best for the child. But it's some parent that wants to be in control of the team and doesn't want to let the club do what the club's going to do for the kid or for the parent or for the team, because these club teams, and I hate to say it, but your son has to play club soccer if you're looking for a college scholarship. If you're looking for a college scholarship and your kid's got the parent, you're in your mind as a parent, I want my son to play pro. Which he has a chance, he has a shot to play pro. You get in the right system and get seen. He can he might play some A League, right? Play some, they call it the USL division. He might get some semi pro somewhere.
I think that's good, right? That we have structures like that now because back when you were growing up, even back when I was growing up, there was no UPSL, USL, none of that.
We just had ODP and that's it. That's all we had.
And it's either MLS, college, and that's it. There was nothing in between.
It's over.
It's honestly beautiful to see it grow and have all these other platforms that kick up towards the MLS so that they can essentially end up playing for a top-level team. But, I don't know. It's is mind blowing to me how much it has changed. But it goes back to what you said. It's greed. All these leagues are just greed. All these leagues are just cash grabs. And
then what happens is these players become real good. Now what happens when the player becomes real good? The club blows up. You know, the clubs survive because of the player. And then like the city's growing and growing and growing. And these kids are talented these days. They are really talented. I would say when I was coming up, we had like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 good players on a team. But now you can have a whole 18-man roster, 18-man from 1 to 18. That kid can start. And how do you juggle that time from a kid that can start? And then the ultimate goal, the number one objective in club soccer is to win. That's your job. My job is to win. If you want your kid to have equal playing time, you got to play on Saturdays and bring the oranges out. Miss Lucy brings the oranges out at halftime, and the kids sit there in a circle and they're clapping their hand and stuff like, "Hey, hey, let's go. It's 1-1. Let me get these oranges." Coach, can I get in? When you're playing cup soccer, it's different. Yeah. The coach's number one job is to win, because if he doesn't win, now the club can't get their ratings. The coaches aren't going to come see the club. I get passionate about it.
No, that's a great breakdown. I think this is why I definitely wanted you to give some insight, because let's go touch on some of the players you trained, because you've trained players that are at the highest level.
Yeah.
So the first one that I remember was Kainoa, because my brother played with Zico.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my friends that also had a brother on the team with Mikey.
Right.
He told me about Kainoa. He was like, "Hey, that kid's going. He's going to Leverkusen at this time."
Yeah, he's played at Leverkusen.
Oh no, sorry, DC United, right?
Yo,
DC
right,
United.
You're right.
DC United. I was like, "Oh, who's that?" He's like, "Oh, that's his brother."
I forgot about.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Bro, it's been like 12, 13 years. It's crazy.
I've been knowing this kid for so long. Like, I honestly, I don't even keep up with him. I just wait for him to call me and how you doing? And I see a New Jersey on him. I'm like, oh wow, that's what you play for now? And he's in Philippines now.
Yeah.
So he's doing his thing.
He was out there in Manila.
Yeah, wow. Like I said, geez, yeah, he's doing good.
That's great. And then, but getting back to that, what made you want to train him?
Oh man, funny story. So it wasn't that I wanted to train, because I was only training my sister. My focus was on my sister, but I had got off an airplane, and me and my sister got off an airplane, and we landed in San Diego Surf Cup. And this was it was in Thanksgiving time. Every time Thanksgiving, you go to November, you go down to San Diego. Everybody who's who in West Coast is going. Now it's so big now. The East Coast and the South, they bring their teams over to this tournament called Surf Cup. Well, I got off the airplane and I was doing some homework.
Wait. This is Surf Cup back then as well?
Yeah, Surf Cup.
It was the biggest back then?
It's the biggest.
That's crazy, because
it's the number one. It's the mesh spot. That's where they go. Like you go to Surf Cup, you're going to college. It doesn't. You're going to get a college scholarship. You go to Surf Cup, you play in Surf Cup, you get down to San Diego, you play one game in Surf. All you got to do is play one game, and you're going to be known. They'll know you. They'll know you. You're going to be on the radar. Every coach in the United States is going to have your name in their profile for an upcoming class to recruit. You'll be in their book, especially if they want you or they don't want you. They're going to be like, oh, that kid was there. We got it. Because it's the best of the best of the best. You're not going to be... Did
they have a facility back then? Their own facility back then?
The Surf Cup? Yeah. That Surf Cup has been there. Same. It's called Polo Fields.
Okay.
It's called San Diego.
I think they just made some new ones by like Mission Beach or something like that.
Oh, wow. I see now. Yeah. That's a new era for me.
So that's what I was going to say, too, because Surf Cup's always the biggest. They have 2 of them now, but now what they do is, recently it was Man City Cup.
Oh, okay.
So, and same thing, super group. This past year was Club America, Mexico.
Wow.
They signed a deal with Surf, and then they host their tournament. And that America one last year, for my age group that I have, it was the 2010s. They had the super group that year.
Wow.
We applied. Obviously, we didn't get in. It's tough to get into a super group like that.
Listen, they got like when they get to those super groups, they get like professional kids that are like 12 and 13, 14-year-old from Guadalajara are coming in like
straight up
teams from like Sweden and Denmark. But it's crazy. Like we're club soccer players, you know what I mean? But then they're bringing in well-trained professional kids, right? So playing professional soccer right now, 12 years old, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old in other countries. They're named pro'd, so we're having club soccer. We're not getting paid, but these kids are getting their housing and maybe some kind of incentives.
Right.
Because
they got to win, right? Club soccer at the end of the day. So going back to that, so you saw Kainoa at a Surf Cup?
Yeah, so it was Surf Cup, and his his father Comes up to my sister and I, and
What'd you say his dad was? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Dr. Bailey.
He played football, right? Or did his...
No. So Dr. Bailey has a brother that Dr. Richard Bailey has a brother that's Mr. Bailey played football for the Chicago Bears. Whenever they won the what do you call the dang thing?
The Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl, yeah. I have mind drew blank. Yeah, Super Bowl. Kainoa's uncle played for the Chicago Bears. And that's from what I've heard and what I've only met him. I've only met the guy. I only met the gentleman one time. It was at a park. We were training. We were getting ready for a training session, and he was out there. He wanted to see what I was doing.
Was it in that park in Henderson?
No, we were at actually. You know where we were at this time? We were at Ed Fountain.
Oh, okay.
Ed Fountain. That's where we played at.
Turf right there, huh?
It was me, Jason Ing, Kainoa Bailey, Zico Bailey, and I think that was it. And my cousin was there, Royal. He was filming everything, and he's Kainoa, or the gentleman we're talking about. Mr. Bailey, I don't know his first name, but Mr. Bailey, Dr. Bailey's brother,
played football. Huh?
And that's Kainoa and Zico's uncle. It's crazy. I was just surfing the web the other day, and I just saw him. And they were doing something like what we're doing, but it was what's the guy's name? The wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill.
Okay,
it was Tyreek Hill and Terrell Owens. They were in a foot race. And their uncle showed up on he was there. I was like, wow, that's Zico Bailey.
Just there?
Yeah, he was there. He was talking to him. He was involved in. It was a little betting thing they had. Who was faster? And Tyreek Hill was saying he's gonna beat him, give him 10 yards, give him 10 yards ahead of him. He would still beat Terrell Owens, and Terrell Owens' nephew was there, and they were racing a 100-yard dash, and Tyreek Hill, he didn't win it, but because it gave him 10-yard advantage.
Right.
But when they did the 40, though, Tyreek Hill, I think he got him. He got him. So the point I was making was that Dr. Bailey's brother Zico and my boy Kainoa Bailey's uncle was there. He's doing something professionally with those players on the side, I guess, just friends.
So it was in their blood for sure, huh?
It's in their blood.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you saying stuff like that. Like it's in them.
It's in them.
They got that innate ability.
It's got the DNA, the DNA. Yeah, DNA. The DNA is very important. It's got to be in your DNA. If it's in your DNA, you can learn how to enhance it, and you can go a long ways with it if you cater to it and shelter it and you mold it the right way.
And how old was Kainoa right here?
And Kainoa right now is probably 29 years old.
And how old was he when you?
At that time, he was only 12. So yeah, his dad came up to my sister and I. And I was scouting for my sister to go play for a club called Slammers. And they're ran by Waleed and Zia, two legendary club like these two guys on the West Coast. If you have a daughter and you want your daughter to make it and get to college soccer, you want your daughters to go play for these two guys in California. Every club has their guy that's like, it's connected. Well, these two brothers, they're I don't know if they're twins, but they're brothers. They might be twins actually. Waleed and Zia, they're on the girls' side. They're good guys, but they run the girls' program in Cal South for Slammers. And my sister she was playing for Saeed at the time. Shout out to Saeed.
The Don?
Yeah, Saeed's done so much for my family and my sister, and just soccer in general in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
He's big time. He can call some shots for getting some girls for sure. I know into top schools, USC, UCLA, Stanford, Cal, you name it. He can get SMU. All those schools are breed the players in there from these club teams. That's how they do it. Excuse me for saying that. It's probably but the NCAA, they have a close eye, a close watch on all these coaches now, make sure nothing illegal's going on, because the way these coaches are recruiting now is like top notch. But yeah, that's how it was. I was in San Diego, and Miss Dr. Bailey came up to my sister and was like, "Hey, are you Zakiya?" And my sister's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Is this your brother Omar?" My sister's like, "Yeah, that's my brother. He trains me, and he's helping me right now. Look for a team out here in California because I'm trying to transition to California for the national team." Because the national team was after my sister, but I felt that my sister needed higher quality training and coaching. Not that anything was wrong in Vegas. It's just that California has more players,
Mm-hmm.
and they have coaches they have more. Not only do they have more players, but they're playing at a high intensity every single day. Whereas in Las Vegas, we're playing one, take a rest, and then we train. California's training every day at this time. They're training every day, and it's high intense training. And now the benefit of this is now the national team coach is on the sideline because the national team coach is in California. The national program is in California, so they're on the sideline with my sisters. So I felt that would be a better move for my little sisters, like Zakiya Bywaters, to go play in Slammers and be next to the coach every weekend or every day. So we ended up moving her down to Slammers, and Dr. Bailey was like, hey, I need you to train my son. I was like, who's your son? Well, I didn't say that. My sister said, who's your son? And I wasn't really doing any talking. I was just looking and listening because I was so focused on my sister's career. And he was like, yeah, this is my son over there. And this is a guy. Wow, this is a legendary coach too out here. I know we all use that word legendary out here in Vegas when it comes to a coach that's known for having the best teams in the championship. But Sky Honey is a big time coach out here too. Good guy, but I've known him since I was 9 years old. And Kainoa Bailey was playing with Sky Hunt, and I seen him playing out there on the right flank. I look across the field, and he's playing on the right flank. He's got his little bandana on. He's 11 years old, actually. He's 11 years old at the time, and he's running down the flank looking for the ball. And I'm just like, oh, that's a nice kid. He's pretty good. And then my sister Dr. Bailey told my sister, I would like you guys to train my sons. And I have another son. His name is Zico. And that's how it all started.
Okay, I was just about to ask how that happened.
Yeah, he was like, I got another son. He's like, oh, we have another son? And he's like 8 years old. He was like not even 8 years old. He was like 6 years old. He was like 6 or 7 years old. And I was like, oh, okay. You want me to train this kid? I train older kids that are getting ready for college, regional team, national team, specifically. Right. That's what I'm training for because that's what my sister was. And then what I was trying to do was I was trying to get all the best kids in Vegas. Any kid that was on the ODP system or regional and going into the second week of regional pool, I was trying to get close to them, get to know them, and train them because I was trying to build my resume for the future.
Right.
So that's how it all started. So then I started getting collectively all the best players in Vegas, and then I ended up getting a team, and that's how I started coaching Zico and Kainoa Bailey. I started out coaching Kainoa Bailey. It was more instant. It was more inference on training him because he was older, and then Zico would just come and tag along and we train. But then all of a sudden, this kid got like really good, and his dad was like, "We gotta train more. We gotta train more." I was like, "We gotta train more. We gotta train more. We need more training. We gotta train more." I'm like, "How are we gonna train more? I got a club team." So they started coming to my girls' practices.
He would train with the girls team.
Yeah, he would train with my girls' team, and they loved it. The dad loved it. He thought he loved it, so he kept them coming, and they, because my trainings are good trainings. I'm training. I'm not, no, I mean, they're good trainings. They're good trainings. I study the game a lot.
I used to miss practices to go watch you train my brother Chicho.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's my boy Chicho. Your brother is my boy. And I used to watch your younger brother because your younger brother played with Zico.
Played with Zico. That's
how I met you guys.
No.
I met you guys because I was like, your brother Mikey played with I don't know who the coach was, but he was on the same team as Zico.
Mike LeBlue, yeah.
Mike LeBlue, and their team was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So then what happened was they were like, "Oh, Mikey has a brother. I needed a goalie on my team." I was like, "Who's the brother?"
Oh, that's funny.
You were coming to the training, and then I met you, and I was like, but then what happened was there was another kid. I started going around the city and collecting all my kids. I didn't know you played soccer. You're like, "I want to coach." We were walking out of Betty Wilson, and you're like, "I want to coach," and I looked at you, and I was like, "You want to coach?" And I think we walked to the car or something, and I showed you a list of like all the best.
The resume. Players. It was the
right.
with all your players.
All my players all across.
But it had you as well, which I want to talk about in a bit. It had you, and then it had that scouting report of Ajax.
Yeah.
So you were probably the only player in Nevada to ever get scouted by Ajax.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like how was that?
Opportunity was it was a great opportunity. Opportunity missed as well, man. They came out and they were like, we got $10 million. My dad's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like I lived in a poor I grew up poor, really poor neighborhood, and nobody knows this. But I grew up in a really poor neighborhood, and every time I remind my mom about this, she's like, we were not poor. But my grandma owned these houses. She owned these houses that were in a poor neighborhood. So because the way I was built up playing soccer, I felt like if you weren't poor, you couldn't play soccer. Because when I was growing up, like watching soccer, it was like poor kids. I was playing with poor kids. Me, personally. Latinos. I lived in a Latino neighborhood. It was like there's like chickens running around, and it's like we were playing in the streets. People had no shoes on. True story. And it's called Calic Arms. That's where I grew up in. Calic Arms on D Street, and but anyhow, we're playing soccer. I almost my mind space. I was about to tell you a whole other story. So I was playing soccer there, and I grew up playing soccer there, and I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old, and a guy named Alex Palmer. As a matter of fact, I was playing in Premier. I was 10 years old.
Premier the
club.
Right. Who ran Premier at this time?
At this time, it was Dr. Marone.
Okay.
Dr. Marone was running the club, I believe, and Premier. He was the president. I can't really remember their names, but Dr. Marone was the president of the club. And then the coaches were like Jason Diorio, Scott Hunt, Bart Gallia, Doug Borgell. Doug Borgell was a big-time player out here in Vegas. Played at Las Vegas Dust Devils.
Okay.
They were the first team.
The NASL, right?
Yeah,
no?
I think so. I'm not sure what the league was, but it was
where the Cosmos played, right? Oh, the indoor.
They played at the MGM. They played at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and this was back in '90s, '93, '94, and we won a championship team. We had a championship team. We won the championship. I was a little kid at this time. I was 10 years old. Bro. And the guy, Doug Borgell, I was at the Las Vegas, Danny Packer, Danny Barber, Carlos Barino. These people, these are world renowned players. These people all run the casino industry now. Yeah, they all went to UNLV, and they all play professional soccer. The guy you probably know, John Kennedy. He was the coach of the Las Vegas Dust Devils back in '93, '94. We won the Indoor Continental Soccer Championship. See, they say that
that's crazy. I didn't even know about anything like that.
They say that this is what people think. People think. I'm saying, man, historian. People think that the Las Vegas Aces. Shout out to Las Vegas Aces though, and our Vegas Knights hockey team. They win championships, but they weren't the first professional team to come to Vegas and win a championship. Las Vegas Dust Devils were an indoor soccer team that won a championship in their first year. They won in the first year.
Damn, so that team must have been stacked.
93. You can look this up. It's on. You can look it up. Las Vegas Dust Devils was a soccer team, and Danny Barber played at UNLV. Doug Borgell, the coach I'm talking about, Doug Borgell, coached in Premier. He was my coach at Premier, and they won the championship in the first season as an inaugural season as a franchise in a professional sport. They won. I promise you, they had a parade, everything. These guys were good.
I'm about to look that up now.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's just true story. And they played at the MGM Grand Arena. MGM Grand Garden Arena. Yeah, champions. True story.
That's crazy because that's why you need historians as yourself to let the other generations know. But if not, you forget, and then you start thinking you're the first team to win the championship.
But now
they hot though.
They're all champions now.
Yeah, and the Knights too.
To the city, and the Vegas Knights, you had to bring in championships here to Vegas. It's amazing.
It's crazy. You had one of your players play against Lights in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Zico, remember?
Oh my goodness,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just
It's that's my boy, man. I feel bad for him. That's
but the fact that
devastating.
Yeah, but he's playing against his home city. Like that's that's insane. That's insane. He's playing.
Yeah. He did his thing. Yeah, and they but you know what? Las Vegas beat them twice this year.
The New Mexico?
Yeah, New Mexico. Zico Bailey plays for the New Mexico team. He's from Vegas. Yes, he's from Vegas. And I saw that the first time they played, Las Vegas beat them. The second time they played, Las Vegas beat them. Went to the next round. So it was devastating loss for New Mexico. Shout out to Zico Bailey. He's doing his thing. He's
the Wizard.
The Wizard, yeah.
I remember. I want to talk about those trainings again, but
yeah.
I remember. So this is my recollection of how I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're at San Juan Bonanza.
Yeah.
And we're at San Juan Bonanza, right? And I think my brothers, I forgot what happened or even how. You guys didn't have a game because the other team didn't show up. So instead, you're a true coach. You're not gonna just all right, let's go home. No, you had them train. I noticed you guys don't have a goalie, so I'm like, hey, do you want to use a goalie?
Wow.
So I'm like, hey, here, like,
yeah, you're right.
You can use my brother, and then my brother was short at the time, but he was playing up. He was playing with the 97s because you had 97s. Las Vegas. What was the name of that club? Las Vegas Select or no.
It was LVSA.
No, but it was before you went to LVSA, right?
LVSA. Who was it?
Was it LVSA? It was
LVSA.
Oh, it was okay.
I came to LVSA off of Newsport.
Oh, okay.
Those boys came from LVSA.
And then you went back to Newsport, right?
LVSA was they had just started because what the club was called. The club was really called. It was called Rebels.
Oh, okay.
There was a girls' soccer club called Rebels, and they combined it and they started a boys' side, LVSA. I believe that's how it happened.
Okay.
Well, you're absolutely that's
how it happened. So it's at San Juan Bonanza. I'm like, hey, you want to use a goalie?
San Juan Bonanza.
And then from there,
that little park right there.
Yep.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
From there, you're like, hey, like keep bringing them, and then you he kept
And then he got on the team. We needed him.
Yeah, you got him on the team.
I think he was younger, wasn't he?
No, he was a 98, and he was short too at the time. So this is that year. I think it was like maybe you 15 that your boys are, or maybe even you 14, and he was like a year younger. You know, those are the years where you'll see that growth.
My team was 97. He was 98.
Yep.
Yeah, and it saved us. We needed a goalie, and your brother was phenomenal. Boy, I love that boy Chicho.
Man, it's crazy. And then
phenomenal.
Going back,
I didn't worry about any games because I knew I had him, and he was quiet, didn't say a word. But he barely gave up any goals. You know, and now that I think about it, he's for sure in the top 5 goalies I've ever seen come out of Vegas, for sure.
He was getting scored on by Kainoa, by Zico, by Z, by by Keon.
Yeah,
but and then
the top players in Vegas at that time.
That's crazy. I mean,
we were training over there at Bob Stupak, the Bob Stupak field, the single field. Yeah, your brother is for sure. I've seen a lot of goalies, and he's for sure. It's over 50, 60 goalies. He's in my top 10 for sure, top 5 for sure. And when it comes down to it, for sure, he was a blessing to the team.
I want to talk about Zakiya now.
Oh yeah,
I know like you told me since she was little you were training her.
Yeah,
since she was like you were probably still playing soccer maybe.
I was.
So how?
Yeah.
How? What about her story? I want to hear how it started with her. Like.
So my baby sister, God bless her soul, all praise to her. Maybe she's doing well. Stay healthy. She was playing for Chicago Red Star. She got drafted to Chicago Red Star, not playing for her. And she had a little career right there, but then got some injuries, sustained some injuries. And, she had to stop playing the game. But before then, she played with Saeed. And she first started out with this is another legendary family out here in Vegas called the Diaz's, Tino Diaz and Denise Diaz is what she started. It was called the Streaking Stars. She started playing at Streaking Stars. And then what happened was Denise was the coach. She was the coach. And she got suspended from coaching soccer, from regionals because we were in a big dog match with a team in the semifinals of regionals one year in Bakersfield, and she went off. And whoever in regionals they have these referees, but they're not dressed in referee clothes. They're in like polo shirts, and they're walking around the side, and they heard her coaching, and they didn't really take a liking to how she was coaching. It's no big deal. We all used to it. But at this level, you can't do that. And they suspended her for like 10 years. So I started coaching my sister's team, my baby sister. I was 17 years old, and my sister was 10 years old. So I've been coaching for a long time. I'd been coaching, running camps through Las Vegas because people know my family. And, when you're from Vegas and you're in the who's who of the best players or anywhere in the cream of the crop, everyone knows who you are. So I was throwing soccer camps at like 15 years old at the Silver Bowl. That was the only park we had at the time. That was the major soccer park, 15, 20 fields so everybody played there. We all crowd in, get our little space, and we train there. And, that's how it happened. It wasn't years until Betty Wilson. I didn't even get to play at Kellogg's there and Betty Wilson, but maybe like 4 games, 5 games.
It was like brand new?
It was brand new. Mm-hmm. I probably played maybe 6 or 7 club games there, and my sister played a whole bunch of games there. But I only played like 4 or 5 games there, and then the state championship game. The preliminary round to the championship game.
Okay.
But then my sister ended up playing ODP, and that's where she really took off. At 11 years old, she took off, and she made it to the regional team. She went straight past the regional pool. They put her straight to the regional team. She didn't even go to the pool. She went straight to the team at 11. And then they had this program that was called, what was the program? Project 500? Nike Project. It was a Nike Project. That's what they called it, the program at the time for the national team, where I believe that's what it's called, Nike Project, where they took 500 kids across the country, boys and girls. You go to North Carolina and you train.
And this was Nike?
Yeah, this is Nike.
Oh, shit.
And then from there you go, once you make that step, and it's Adidas. They had another one that was Adidas. So you have to either go to the Nike one or you go to Adidas or you go to both of them. Well, she went to Nike and Adidas, and this is like the top of the top of the top, 400, 500 kids that they it's an Adidas camp and a Nike camp, and then when they do that, they select the national team. Well, at 11 years old, they selected her for the U14s. So she was on the U14 national pool at 11 years old. Yeah,
That's crazy.
And she never left the program. She went to the U16, 17s, 18s. She went to the U20 World Cup, and we lost to Nigeria in penalty kicks. 2010 World Cup, and then she signed with UCLA. The lady wanted my sister real bad. Had a scholarship for her, and I said, "Yeah, listen." She said it just like this. "Hey, listen, I have a scholarship for your sister. I really like her, and I think she can be the next Vicky DiMartino." I was like, "Oh yeah." Because I studied the soccer. And she's like, I'm looking for her to, fill those shoes. I was like, Vicky DiMartino? Oh, for sure. She's coming. Don't say nothing else. My sister didn't even know. I was like, yeah, she's coming. It's over. UCLA.
You were agent before, huh?
Yeah,
you were
UCLA.
agent before
That's what we're doing.
you.
I told my sister, I'm like, you're going to UCLA? He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, you're going to UCLA. Get your stuff, get on the plane, and get down there. My sister got her stuff, went on the plane, said, I'm going to UCLA.
Z graduated 2010, right?
Yeah, 2010. I believe so. 2010. Okay. Yeah.
So, would you say that ODP had a huge part in her?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. ODP is.
So, you
got to do ODP.
Would you recommend that people do ODP then?
You got to do ODP. I don't care. This every year, these parents and these people. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you. This is what I would tell you. The people that are disgruntled with ODP is because their kid didn't make the team.
I mean, yeah.
I don't mean to be rude. No disrespect. But if you're upset with ODP, it's because your kid didn't make the team.
There's always some excuse.
Or the guy that's coaching the ODP team is the rival of your team, and he smacked you.
But luckily,
you're gonna be upset with ODP. That's how you're gonna get your kid to college. What they should do, what parents should do, is get their kids some training, and then maybe you can pick your level up and you get on the ODP team. Because ODP, listen, man, when you send your kid to ODP and you're coaching ODP, and I go down to ODP and I'm getting whooped by Cal South 12-0, how's my son gonna get looked at for college? I got my son on the ODP team, the state team, and we're playing Cal South, and we lost 12-0. What college coach wants a kid like I beat 12-0? He's got a 6-figure job. He's got to protect. He need 5-star, 4-star, 3-star players.
Right.
He need 3-star, 4-star, 5-star players. If you're a 2-star, you're not going to find a 2-star or one. No, you're not going to find a 2-star or a 1-star player at that level. That's in the club level.
Yeah, no.
You find them in the club level. But when you get ODP, everyone's 3 and up.
So what key traits do young players need to succeed, in your opinion?
You have to love the game first. You got to love the game. Because if you love the game, that's going to bring your best out. And then you have to have this word called grit. You have to have grit. You got to be gritty. You got to be a dog, and you got to want it. Because you got to figure there's 10,000 kids. There's more than 10,000 kids now. I'm giving you numbers when I was playing. I'm 40 years old now. So over 15, 20, 25, so about 25 years ago, 10,000 kids were playing club soccer. 5-10 years later, it's 40, 50,000. There's over 1 million kids playing club soccer right now, trying to compete for one spot. 50 states, one spot. And there's only 18 of those spots. Sometimes they take 22 because they're like, well, we'll extend the roster. Because you got that 19, 20, 21, and 22 player that you don't want to leave them out. You get what I'm saying? You got to be an ODP. If you want a career in soccer, and you want to not even a professional career, if you want to further your soccer career, and you want to go to any type of college, it doesn't matter if you go to D1, D2, junior college, you got to get into ODP. You got to get on that team some kind of way. If you don't make your age group, go to the next age group and try to make it.
All right, well, thank you, Omar. This has been great, bro, having you as my first guest.
I love you, my boy.
Appreciate it.
That's what I call you.
Yeah, I remember that.
I always call you that.
Art.
Family's such a great family, man.
Oh, thank you.
Great family, man. I'll tell you, you're up there.
They're doing well. Appreciate it.
Great family, man. Mom, dad, brothers and sisters. I love you guys, man. Truly.
We love you too, bro.
Yes, man, for sure.
I want to thank everyone for listening. Hope you guys all enjoyed.
Yes, thank you.
Please thank my guest, Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sub City. Appreciate you guys.